GMs for Hire.
Welcome back to GMs for Hire. I am Matthew Perry, and tonight we are joined by none other than Big Baby David Mendelsohn, producer for Jomboy Media, produces some of the most popular sports podcasts in the United States, at least, talking baseball, talking Yanks, talking Knicks, Jomboy and Jake Radio. The list goes on and on. David, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Just hoping the Yankees can start playing better, but
hopefully.
Other than that, I'm great.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very nice if the Yankees would start getting it together, especially, given what some pieces are doing for them. And we'll talk about the Yankees a little bit later, but I figured we'd start by talking about you. You are the star of this show, at least for today. We'll start with how you got hired, because you told me there was a kind of a complicated story behind that. I know you started as an intern and went from there, and now you're at the forefront of the operations for Jomboy Media, it seems. So just, give me a little bit on how you got hired.
Yes, I mean, I studied communications and I guess journalism more specifically in college. And then, I had worked on my school newspaper, and I was working in athletic communications at my school. And all that led to like an internship where I was just doing like sports writing and stuff. And from there, because that would have been like summer 2018, I was doing that. So all the Jomboy stuff was picking up in 17. I started listening to them during that season and the playoffs particularly. And I was just always friendly with them and in Jimmy's periscopes and all that. And so he just was familiar with seeing my face around. And then I had this internship where I wrote a lot, and there used to be blogging on the Jomboy Media site. We don't do it anymore, but then I was towards the end of that internship, and I was on vacation down the shore with my family, and it happened to be one town over from where Jomboy was living at the time. And I like DM'd and was like, basically asked if he wanted to meet up. He invited me over to his house, which he would never like do now. He wouldn't just like invite some fan over. But at the time, the following was small enough, and he knew who I was, so he trusted me. Came over. We watched a game together. I was telling him about this like internship I was doing. We had met once at a game over the summer before that. So I was telling him about like the writing I was doing and all that. So, and when that internship ended a few weeks later, it's like easy enough to just start writing for the website, calling that an internship. So I did that through my like senior year of college, and I just kind of kept like adding stuff to it because I don't know, the company was very, very young, couldn't pay me to do anything, especially just to write. So from there it became like, hey, teach me how to like edit some videos. So Jimmy like personally taught me like how to edit with Adobe Premiere, and from there I edited some social media clips. And after that it became like I had an opportunity to like help manage the t-shirt store a little bit. And that so you could pay me at least, a couple $100 a month or whatever it was. I think I made like $1 for every shirt that we sold or something. So it was like kind of cool. That was how I was able to first start getting paid. I think I might have technically been the first person besides like him and Jake to be paid. I don't know if that's literally true, but I like to say it. I mean, so we kept like adding stuff like that, and that was able to have that be my summer job. Jake liked me, added me to the Talking Knicks like co-hosts, and just everything grew from there. And then I had to get like a real job for a year right after I graduated, and then in like January 2020, they were like, we can like bring you on full time now. Awesome. That became the producer job, which it wasn't in theory. They brought me on. The position they told me I was going to be was shadow. That was the word we used. Yeah. They basically were just like, hey, we like you and just kind of want you there for whatever we're doing. And none of us knew exactly what that was going to be. And that fairly quickly became like, okay, I can edit the podcast and help out with some social stuff, but especially the podcast end of things is where everything made sense for me.
So you're graduated from college, right? It's now been what, a year or two now?
Yeah, almost 2 years, I guess.
Almost 2 years.
23 months.
So when you were in college, before you got in all this, what was your career goal? Was it something similar, or was it something completely different?
Well, when I first went to school, I didn't this wasn't the plan at all. I wanted to be a doctor, and
Oh wow.
like in high school I was an EMT, and I wanted, if not a doctor, something in the medical field, and I like helping people and all that kind of stuff. But it didn't work out. And it turns out I'm not as smart as I thought I was,
Hmm.
and I also didn't really enjoy the classes. So it's not a great combo if you want to go into that. So I pivoted, and my grades reflected it. And so I pivoted to communications. I was like, you know what? I've always, in my heart of hearts, wanted to do at the time, sports talk radio was what the goal was. Podcasts were starting to really take off. So now
Right.
I am doing that, just it's not on radio. Who cares? So it's like, all right, I might as well just go for the thing I know I'd love. And it kind of worked out. It started writing more and more, getting better at that, and working in the athletic communications office at my college. So yeah, I pivoted from a different plan. But once I focused on that, it was like, all right, what do I do to accomplish this dream?
Well, I mean, it seems like you've really found something. I honestly can't imagine you being a doctor. So
Yeah.
that you saying
I
that,
can't either anymore.
yeah, I mean, it seems like you've really found something, because you're with a good team. You seem comfortable, and you guys are very successful. So I mean, it seems to be working. Uh, Another thing that kind of surprised me when you said uh, Jimmy Jomboy, for those who don't know Jimmy, was very hands on with you when you were
Mhm.
learning, and kind of showed you the ropes. Is he still? Would you say he's still very hands on, even though you guys have expanded and there's so many more? You guys have other interns now, and it's a whole big thing. Is he still just as hands on with everybody?
Yes, we'd have a big enough team that we don't necessarily he doesn't need to be as much anymore. But in general, yeah, I mean, and anybody like just today we were talking with last couple of days we've been talking with people who edit and run some social accounts, and what things we can go over and improve and change, and different plans, like our sequence pages. We're going over
Right.
with Dan who runs those accounts, what we can do there, and he's he has his ideas, he looks at everything. He's hands on is a fair verbiage. We were just doing it. We were going over plans for the future of a couple other shows, and yeah, he's in it.
That
He's with everybody.
I think that's great. Having I guess you can call him the founder. I mean, the media group's named
Yeah.
after. That the fact that he's still hands on even after you guys have found the success. I don't know. I think that really helps, and it shows how much it means to him, and how true he is to it, which is fantastic. And it seems like every week you guys are growing. You guys have a new show every week. I know Farm to Fame just dropped a couple weeks ago, and getting Chris Rose was big. What have your interactions been like with Chris Rose?
I haven't talked to him a lot individually, other than he's come on Wake and Jake, which is me and Jake's morning show where we
Right.
do sports stuff. He'll actually be back on next week. We're gonna do an NFL draft thing.
Nice.
Or at least that's the plan. I guess we haven't locked that in. But I talked to Rose's producer a lot, and so I mean Rosie's the man. He came on Talking Baseball a couple times, so came on, called me Bug, and moved on. But no, he's the absolute man, and he cares so much. Not that I haven't spoken to him directly about a whole lot, but just it's so clear how much he cares about putting together a good product and growing the game and everything. Not enough nice things to say about Chris Rose from both the few personal experiences I've had, just everyone who has been talking to him every day.
Yeah, I remember this was, I mean, almost 2 months ago now. I want to say you guys had your big mystery reveal, and it turned out to be Chris Rose. I mean, that's gotta be a great feeling for the group and for everybody. I mean, going from a guy that was on, I guess, yeah, you can call it national television. I mean, intentional talk, and used to do Fox Sports and a bunch of other stuff, to now Jomboy Media. I mean, that's a big name, and I mean, you've had a bunch of other big names now. I mean, Trevor Plouffe, I'd say, is pretty big, and he does great stuff for you guys. And then now you got was it Peter Moylan? I want to say.
Yeah, Moylan. He's on
him,
Farm to Fame.
him on Farm to Fame.
Winger.
You've had a lot of great guest. Who's been your favorite guest on the show? I mean, you've had so many MLB guys. I mean, just through the Chris Rose rotation and stuff already, and outside of that, do you have a favorite that either you've interacted with or has been just so good to you guys?
Yeah, I mean the go-to answer has to be Cole Tucker. He's
that would make sense.
Pirates shortstop. He's the absolute man. He's become like a genuine friend. Like he and I text, and I'm like not even the host of the show. He's just the nicest guy in the world. Like he and I are always like DMing and stuff, and he's just so sweet. He's every conversation with him is amazing. When he came on the show, it's just like everything clicked. I think that was the first time Jimmy and Jake had met him, was on the show, and it was just such an immediate connection. He's so personable. I've literally never heard anyone say a bad word about him because there's nothing you can say.
Right. Yeah.
Other guys on the list, Taylor Hearn has become friendly. Texas Rangers pitcher. We love him. He came and hung out with us at the World Series.
Nice.
Mike King of the Yankees.
Very good.
Those are like my three go-tos. Like I love those guys, but we really have had little to no bad experiences, but those are the three that stick out.
That's got to be like a crazy feeling for you. Like, cause I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, did you see yourself having those kind of interactions with major leaguers? I mean, I don't
No.
That, you know, that's
no.
That's kind of surreal for you. I mean,
for it to happen so quick. I could have always seen a world where that was on the table. Even if not to the extent it is, where like Cole is a real friend, but like didn't think any of this would happen so quick, and it's been just very exciting.
Yeah, I can imagine. Interacting with guys like that, learning so much, and I'm sure that a lot of them are fun guys, especially guys like Cole. I mean, that's got to be a great time. You mentioned a couple minutes ago, Chris Rose called you Bug. Let's talk about the nicknames, because you got Big Baby David. Obviously, that's what you pretty much go by these days, at least in public.
Yeah.
Bug Dude is a big one that came up in the last couple months on your guys' shows. Tell me about all that, because Bug Dude, I mean, that's kind of out of
left. I mean, so Big Baby David just came from like I think like somehow, and my name's not even a common name, but just like all the variations of just my name straight up were taken as usernames on stuff. And I would change my names fairly frequently, like just different, whatever, stupid nicknames or something. Eventually it clicked, and I was like, oh, well, Glenn Davis, Big Baby Davis, change one letter, Big Baby David, bang. There you go. So that became a pretty easy to make that just my username on stuff. And then like when I got to college, I don't know why it never occurred to me that people would start actually calling me that. So it's like in college, people called me Big Baby Dave all the time. And when there was the Twitter username, it made sense that Jomboy and Jake called me that. And it became BBD because that's easier. So everyone calls me that as well. And just at one point last season, Jimmy was introduced me as BBD and said, sometimes it's just I give myself a laugh pretending that BBD stands for Bug Dude. And then all of a sudden they started calling me Bug Dude or Buggy.
All right.
So just things evolved, and then all of a sudden I think half the time people address me, it's Bug.
Yeah. Well, yeah, these are definitely nicknames that have caught on. So Big Baby David.
One thing leads to another.
Yeah. I mean, soon there might be another thing for BBD. Who knows? They might evolve into something even bigger. But so Big Baby David came before Jomboy Media you were even involved.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. I just thought it was a fun Instagram handle.
I mean,
it worked out really well, because I go by it now, and
right.
My last name would just confuse people. It's just it's Mendelsohn. It's not hard. It's just a weird H in there that nobody knows what to do with.
That H can throw people off. I definitely didn't think Glenn Davis would find its way into our conversation tonight. That was a curveball, but Big Baby. I mean, there you go. It led to something.
Yeah, it made sense. I was always the other part of why I gravitated towards that was I was always like one of the younger kids in, like, for my grade. I was a July birthday. and I always looked really, really young. I mean, I like just now have the ability to grow facial hair a little bit, and that feels wrong to me, but it is what it is. So, like if I shaved this, I would look 18 at best.
Right.
So I always just like looked really, really young too. So it's like, yeah, I'm a big baby.
So do you like the facial hair personally? I know you were on Twitter you were talking about growing it out, and you finally have done it.
Um, I think it's fine. I don't care. I keep getting compliments about it, so
Yeah, I don't think it looks
like
bad.
I'm letting it ride.
It
I'm
does
waiting
make
for
you look older.
somebody to like genuinely tell me like, hey, I don't think it looks good. And if I would listen, but
Hey, whatever.
it works for now. I'll look a little older. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever you think about it is what matters most. You know, I
Yeah.
don't think it looks
I
bad.
hate the like mustache area stuff, but you kind of need to have that. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it
like
looks,
this is the toughest part to fill in, I feel like.
yeah, in there. I just don't like feeling anything up there, but it is what it is. Otherwise, you start looking like Moe's from The Office, and
Oh yeah.
you
Well,
don't want that. But
no, that's not a modern look. I'll say that. But uh,
fair.
I mentioned how many podcasts you help out with, and there's a long list at this point. What does your day look like? Because uh, you appear on a lot of the shows in that little home plate in the corner, but you're still impacting the show, um, maybe several times a day sometimes. So just walk me through your day and tell me what you normally do.
Yeah, I mean we've changed the way we do our schedule so much, and every day of the week is a little different. Like in general, if it's a Wake and Jake day, I'm in pretty early, and I I try to fill in some scores from the night before and figure out important stat lines, all that. And Jake and I prep the graphics for the show. Jake and I go in, we make sure we know what we're gonna talk about, and from there, we do an episode of Talking Baseball or Talking Yanks at noon generally. From there, we get ready for the pregame show, which am I really a part of? I don't know. Every day's different. It's hard for me to tell you tell you a full day, but I help out prep graphics and try to help set up topics and stuff for Talking Yanks, Talking Baseball, Wake and Jake, Talking Knicks, Jomboy Jake Radio on Wednesdays. Like this Wednesday was the craziest Wednesday we've had in a while. We went to a game the night before, so we were out late
Right.
and all that.
Right.
But this Wednesday, it was like we had 10 o'clock Talking Baseball. That was from 10 to 11 ish. Then from noon to 2:30, we had John Boy Jake Radio, and we had like Moylan and Kelsey Wingert come in for different parts of that because they were in town. It was just like a crazy, just a lot there, and we prepping ads, all that.
Right.
Then after that, we were doing pregame show stuff, and we had Peter and Kelsey there showing them the neighborhood, all that. And we were live for the game, so that's like 3 hours being live, and then we had the post game show after. So we were live with very little breaks from essentially 9:30, 10 a.m. through midnight. So that was a particularly crazy day. We're trying not to do as many weekday live streams, but
That's got to be a tiring day.
so those days stink, but we front load our weeks a lot. So usually Thursday, Friday are kind of nice.
So when you're specifically in that bottom corner, are you throwing up graphics? Is that mainly your job when you're on there?
Yeah, I mean the number one thing I'm doing besides like just making sure the stream is alive on YouTube and the audio sounds right in the mixer, and like everyone's levels are coming in the same, all that. I like try to take notes and write down like what topics we discussed. So like our social media team can go and see like, all right, when did they talk about this, or when did they get to the AL recap portion of the show or whatever. And you can say I write down like 20 minutes in we got there, or like I write down when we did our ad reads because we have to send the advertiser those links.
Yeah.
Like show them where the ad read was. So it's stuff like that, writing down when we talked about what. And then it's also just good for us to have for the Finn 6 months. We remember like, hey, at one point I said like, if Glaber hits 20 home runs over the next 2 months, whatever, then like the Yankees probably will be in first place in the division. The Yankees are in first place. Did Glaber hit that many home or whatever? Or like, can you confirm
Right.
that's what we said? We go back and like can cross our notes or whatever. We like at the end of the year can see what prop bets, like what we said on the prop episode without having to go listen to it.
Right. I see how that'd be easy, taking notes and
Yeah.
stuff. Being able to look back. I'm sure that's helpful in the long run. Speaking of the Yanks being in first place, which they're not at all, nowhere close. And I know you do
Almost
this,
the opposite.
I know you do this every day, but let's talk Yanks. I mean, I feel like it has to be mentioned. We're two Yankee fans. They're still struggling. They won last night over the Indians, but they're still not where they need to be. What's your biggest question mark right now regarding the team?
Oh, it's a good question.
I mean, there are a lot of question marks, so
Yeah,
there are a lot of right
number. Yeah, there's not many people that aren't concerning you right now. Hopefully last night was kind of the turning around point, but it's got to be Glaber, just because the defense has been an issue. I'm not worried about the hustling thing long term, but that was a bad look the other night. The defense has been the main issue, and he's cleaned it up for about a week now. We'll see. He still doesn't make the spectacular plays necessarily, but at least for the last week-ish, he's made all the routine plays. And hopefully he went 3 for 5 last night. So hopefully that's the start of him starting to really hit. And I wasn't worried about his offense coming into the season because he hit so well in the playoffs, and we knew he was banged up last year. But his regular season numbers last year weren't good.
It wasn't his best year by any means.
No, and he started this year hitting worse. So he's the number one concern because he at least doesn't look as dominant as we thought he could be, and that has to be the biggest long-term issue. Besides him, obviously, like Hicks has to be better, and I mean, pretty much everyone on the team is not
besides like
playing up to themselves.
Besides like Gio, and I like where Judge is at, and DJ's picking it up. He's getting more consistent. But besides, I think just Gio and sometimes Judge, everyone else can be a bit better.
Nobody's playing up to themselves. And I mean, Gio his first like full week was pretty bad, and since then he's picked it up a little bit, and particularly of late. So I'm not worried about him, and he helps the team even if he's not hitting. Like DJ and Judge have been good, better than they've been great. I wouldn't notice it if the rest of the team, if they were winning games or just like anyone else on the team was doing their best. But when those two are your best players and they're not playing anywhere near their best, because we know those guys are MVP candidates.
Right. Yeah. A lot needs to be done. The bullpens look good.
The bullpen's been really good. They've done just about everything that you can ask from them, and it stinks that they're like already tired and we're not out of April yet. We've spent them almost every night.
The rotation, Cole's been good. Obviously Cole's been better than last year so far, at least I'd say.
Yeah, at least to start off.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't falter, but it also doesn't help the Yankees that they have a couple of slow start guys like Kluber. I know Kluber's traditionally a slow starter, like to the season. Herman looked good yesterday. I know he was having command issues, but he looked better yesterday besides that first inning, which was
by far his best game.
Yeah. Hopefully he continues that. We're supposed to see either Davy Garcia or an opener, I believe, on Sunday.
I think Sunday. I did see that tweet.
I think Tyone's going Sunday, so it might be Saturday that we see the opener.
Sounds right. I can see if I can find that quick.
But hopefully Davy isn't the opener, because we saw that in the playoffs, and that didn't go well.
I would, if you're gonna play Davy, let him start a traditional game. I don't see a benefit to making him go with an opener right now.
Yeah,
especially they're gonna call him up for a day and send him down. So
we tried to
just do it normal.
We tried that opener with Nelson a week or two ago, and that didn't go well. So
he seems like a guy that once he like establishes himself, he could be a guy that could work as an opener, but he's not ready for that right now. And like, if the guy behind him is going to be Mike King, that guy, you should give him the best chance to succeed. The best chance for Mike King to succeed is to give him a normal start.
Right. Yeah. Mike King he was really good, but they send him back to the alternate site after every appearance.
He's in that cycle. It really stinks for him.
Aaron Boone has been making some questionable decisions this year, and hopefully you can agree with this. I know it's early, but like there have been several things. Him saying Frazier would be our starting left fielder, and then Frazier didn't start off well, and he still isn't where he needs to be. But I feel like taking at bats away from him by giving Gardy the starts doesn't help him.
Yeah.
Sending Mike King, to and fro with the alternate site and the main roster. I don't know. I'd like to see him get some more time up. I don't think that's fair to him because he's pitching really well. Personal catcher with Higgy. We haven't.
Yeah.
He said it wouldn't be that, but after opening day, I'm pretty sure it's been.
I don't think Gary's caught him since opening day.
Yeah, so that was another I considered a lie, kind of, but
Yeah.
it's not a good look for Boone. And then obviously he said he had the discussion with Glaber that he didn't want to talk about. The hustling thing's not it's a bad look, but like I don't think it was
in the moment. It's worse than it really is.
Like a week from then, it's not going to be a big deal. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Aaron Boone as of right now? Because I mean,
I still I like Aaron Boone personally, but like, it's very weird. Obviously, a lot of like the actual decisions aren't really up to him, so it's hard to figure out what to be mad at. And I guess just what he says, because if he was just straight up about everything, like he was like, yeah, like Gardner and Clint are gonna split time, and Higgy's gonna catch Cole most of the time, and forget what other one we might have said, but like if he was just straight up about all those, like, yeah, it's not like none of those are like a problem that we're doing it.
Right.
I don't know why you needed to like say there won't be a personal catcher, or why like you said all spring training Clint is the starting left fielder, and has he even started half the games? I don't think he has.
So.
If he has, it's really close.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he hasn't played well. Hicks hasn't played well either. Like, it could have given plenty of Clinton left Gardner in center days while Hicks was in the worst fit. And Hicks got that hit the other way yesterday, so I'm hoping that can turn around a little bit. And he walked a few times over the weekend or during this week against the Braves. So hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel with Hicks specifically. But they could have done other stuff. They're not putting their guys in the best positions to succeed. And I don't know whose decision that is, which stinks.
Right. I'm sure there are a lot of factors that play into Boone's decision making. I know analytics have grown to a point where Boone does not have full say in a lot of things. They got to at least acknowledge the analytics, which are good and bad, I guess. The Yankees to me, the Yankees don't seem like that kind of team. Like the Rays, you can see them being like analytics heavy just based on who they have. But I don't know. I can't imagine the Yankees basing parts of the lineup on analytics. That just doesn't seem like them. Yeah,
well, the Rays do have their own like style with it. They take analytics to an extreme, and I mean the Yankees are the Yankees and Dodgers are like the only teams that are perhaps more analytically driven than the Rays, which is kind of nuts to think about. And the Rays do it differently. They like everybody is a platoon option. They don't have They basically don't have any everyday players besides like Adames is penciled in every day, and he's not one of the first guys you think of. But like
Brandon
Meadows will still sit against tough lefties. Yeah, Lau is the only other guy who's like really every day. This in the past, Kiermaier was like an everyday guy. You'd be surprised because he's like, yeah, every day he's the guy who bats eighth and plays center field. And then it's like, oh, Kiermaier, really? Like everybody else has like platoon option stuff, and so many teams want to do what the Rays do really badly, or do it like the way they do it, their style really badly, and nobody knows how to do it the same way. It's like, guys, you have access to all the same numbers and stuff. You got to apply them differently. Like you can't do what the Rays do, and the Yankees fall into that trap all the time. Right. Especially like it's every time it's against the Rays. They tried Nick Nelson to Mike King for the opener bulk combo. It's like that's not going to work. Last year they did Davey opening for J Happ, and that doesn't work. And they try to outraise the Rays all the time, and it doesn't work for anyone besides them. Let them be the team that's good at that.
Yeah, you need your own approach.
Do your thing,
especially when we aren't a team where every guy can platoon like that. I mean, I'm sure there are, but we're a very different team than the Rays, so you really can't play their game. You have to bring your own approach.
Yeah, the Rays are pretty much everybody can play anywhere, and
very versatile team.
It's so impressive what they're able to do. It
Yeah.
kind of is a boring product to watch sometimes, especially when they take it to the pitching end and they do their bullpen days, or they have their like one time through the order, get them out of there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the Yankees, they they don't have as much versatility as they like to pretend they do, and they have a lot of guys who are bat first, and their bat isn't there right now.
Yeah.
So it's really tough.
Oh yeah. Hopefully, last night looked like a step in the right direction, but it takes more than one game to really show that. So tonight,
Get through the weekend.
yeah, let's win this series in Cleveland and go from there. I think we got Baltimore next, which is a series we should win. I think that's been our only series win so far this year. I believe,
Exactly.
which is tough to say. I mean, that's ridiculous, but and definitely something we're not used to.
Yeah.
But
And they're losing to teams like they played the Rays and Blue Jays each a couple times now.
Yeah.
And those teams, I believe, certainly haven't won most of their series besides the Yankees series. They've been like not great teams.
Neither team,
but they've crushed the Yankees.
Yeah.
It's like the Rays have not won most of their series against non-Yankee teams, and they embarrass the Yankees. I think the Yankees have a better run differential on the season than them. But the Rays just crush them because they get in the Yankees' head so easily. It's crazy.
Cut, obviously. So one more question before we head into our rapid fire questions. So it's very early in the season still, but do you see the Yankees claiming Severino as our deadline pickup, using that as an excuse? Because obviously money's tight. They don't want to get taxed or get a penalty for going over. Do you see them doing that, or do you think they can go out and get us some weapons?
It's a good question. I am not sure what the other moves would be because of the luxury tax situation. They have, I think, about $5 million in wiggle room. So if I don't know which guy would be the salary they're moving off of to make it work, but they can take on a little bit of money. I don't think they go through the deadline without bringing in anybody like in the month of July, because Cashman just can't do that 3 years in a row.
Right. Something has to be done.
Like technically you can say they already made one in-season trade with Odor, which tells you all you need to know. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like 2019, you can make the argument they made their strength stronger. They brought in Edwin, who was good in the regular season, but he was a broken wrist right before the playoffs, so he wasn't good then. But I don't know what exactly they would do, but I think there's a world where we don't get a starter, but if we go get another shutdown reliever guy, then I can see a world where I'm comfortable with that. Hopefully they do something.
Yeah,
I don't think they do nothing again.
If the outfield, because if Hicks and Frazier, and Gardner is not doing great, he's doing okay. If they don't,
his first week was good.
Yeah, but I don't love what I'm seeing from him. We can have better outfield. If the outfield doesn't pick it up, I'd say go get an outfielder. I don't know who is a good rental outfield wise. I know there's plenty of middle infielders we can get that would be good rentals, but I can't think of an outfielder off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's hard to think off the top.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's like some move to be made if they decide they're done with Clint, and Clint probably doesn't make enough money to be moved off the books, and that make a big difference. But you could do something where you get like a reliever plus at least some pretty good outfielder who can be the opposite side of a platoon with Gardner. I don't know. That's very much off the top of my head.
I don't want to see us quiet again on at the deadline, because at least starting this season we might need to make some noise, because there's no.
There's no team that comes into a season with the perfect roster that can't be improved in any way. And we see the Dodgers make additions every year. They finally got over the hump, won the World Series, and they signed Trevor Bauer. It's like, hey, let's do something like that. I'm not saying sign Bauer specifically or anything like
Right.
that, but it's like
It doesn't have to be
they're
on.
looking to improve every step of the way, every time. They are trying to find ways to get better each and every day, and they do. Like it's crazy, and they have a ton of prospects just like show up and are really good. The Dodgers, it's crazy how deep they are as an organization.
Yeah,
They're obviously not the norm, but
they were
like
deep before picking up Bauer, and they
yeah.
picked up Bauer, so they're ridiculous.
They made a couple World Series in a row, then picked up Mookie Betts,
Yeah,
then added Bauer the next year.
Bauer, and they still have a decent farm system. Still got a couple guys down there that could do something for a major league team. Dustin May is underutilized.
Yeah.
Tony Gonsolin is underutilized. I mean, they're running out of spots for everybody. But yeah, the keep up with the
David
Dodgers.
Price is in their bullpen right now.
Yeah, I mean, David Price hasn't been a good starter in a couple of years, so
Yeah.
I don't mind him being in the bullpen for them, especially against the Yankees.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're going to go far again. I don't think there's any question about that. It's just a matter if the Yankees can keep up, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get to the rapid fire questions before we head out. Just, lighthearted questions. Take your time and rapid. I don't care how you do it. We'll start with favorite current Yankee.
Dude, in my heart of hearts, I think it's still Gary. I still love him. It's my easy answers I think would be Gio, because he just does everything and he's such a comforting presence. But I like won't ever not have a soft spot for Gary Sanchez. I love him. Like I love him. I'll defend him till I die. I love Gary Sanchez.
Do you think there'll ever be a day where he's not like 65? I'd say 65% hated by the Yankee community.
No, like and like at this point, understandably so, we've seen so many awful like full seasons out of him. We've seen two awful like full years. One of them he was hurt most of the year, and last year was a 60-game weird season. Like we can go back and forth on him. I think everyone's made up their minds on how they feel personally about Gary Sanchez. But God, I love that dude. Literally everything you ever hear about him is how hard he works and how much he wants to be good. And I want him to be good so bad, and I want it to work so bad. And he's been good, and you know he has that in him. So I'm really hoping it can last over this full year. As nobody's been great for the Yankees this year, but he's been not one of the guys you label as a problem. He's been, which makes him, I think, the best player on the team this year, which is nice to an extent. But
yeah, I mean, I'll admit I haven't said the nicest things about Gary. Of course, as a Yankee
fan, and at times he really hasn't deserved it.
Yeah, and as a Yankee fan, I want him to be successful. I want him to prove me wrong, honestly. But it's just, you hear the narrative of him working hard, and many people have hammered that in. I know Marley Rivera came on one of your guys's. I think it was the winter meetings, like 8-hour show.
She
or whatever,
did,
and defended the hell out of him. But I don't know, until I really see him be a star, I'm not gonna care how hard he works, because you work real hard on something, and if it's not working, it's not working. I mean, you need to see more.
Yeah, and like there's the difference. Like people can think he's just not gonna be good, and that's like he's shown enough bad that you're well within your rights to think he won't fully figure it out. When I get defensive and get frustrated when the people say that he is lazy, and it's like it's just fundamentally not true. He's had it hasn't worked out, and he's had some just awful years, but he is anything but lazy.
Yeah, that was not a rapid fire question. That kind of branched off, but I'm glad we mentioned it, because I think the Gary conversation will
I love Gio too.
Everyone loves Gio. He's come on, he's so cute. But
he's adorable.
Yeah, exactly. He's so wholesome. But favorite all-time Yankee?
All-time Yankee like that. So I got to see some Bernie, and he's probably like the number one answer for me. Like I wore 51 for a few years when I was a kid. Like I loved Bernie, kind of the easy answer there. Yeah, Bernie. Jeter, of course.
Yeah, it was Jeter for me.
Wouldn't be the person I am if Jeter wasn't who he was.
Yeah, I was born 01, so I missed I want to say I missed a lot of good Bernie. I missed a lot of good Jeter too, but by the time I was able to comprehend everything, Jeter was the guy. So Jeter for me, I was big on A-Rod. Well, still I'm big on A-Rod.
Yeah.
But it has to be Jeter or Tanaka for me. Means a lot.
Tanaka, my heart.
He has such a soft spot in my heart. You know, there's so much I could say about him, but definitely.
They need to find a way to get him back next
wish
year.
they would. I really wish they would. That would make me very happy. Jeter and Tanaka have to be up there for me, top two. Where are we at here? Jomboy. Okay, I was gonna ask this one. You probably don't have an answer. Jomboy or Jake?
Well, both, because they both signed my checks.
Fair enough.
So.
Fair enough. Michael K or John Sterling?
They're. I mean, I love both of them with like all my heart, and K's been so good to us. But I run the Sterling Calls account, so I do.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I listen to John Sterling every night, and I love that man. I love K too. He's the absolute best, and the whole like Yes crew really can't be beat.
David, yeah.
Like at this point, like John Sterling is like he is just an icon.
Yeah.
I think I'm at a point where I like have to, at least if I have a daughter one day, like middle name is gonna be Susan.
Nice.
I love her too. I think that like has to happen. Like it's beyond my control at this point.
They have
or at minimum, I gotta get a dog or something and name it Susan.
Yeah, they have fantastic chemistry. John's at the point in his career where he just has like no filter, and it's the best thing. Like he's reached that part where you're like where you're a college professor and you get tenure. It's like they can't fire you, so you could just do whatever you want.
He is what he is. He's so great. He's so funny.
Yeah.
Like every single night, like I go to like I post like the best stuff onto the Sterling Calls account. But like he has so many like quick ones that are just like I can't do anything with this, but he is nonstop entertainment. I can see why like, people don't like him because they like listen to the radio, and I can see if you're not watching what's happening how it doesn't supplement it the best necessarily. But if you can get the overlay, like I get to watch Sterling with the video in front of me, he is the absolute best. I love him.
I love it. And I'm looking to pursue a career in sports broadcasting. Like that's my peak. That's my career goal. I've looked up to Kay and Sterling, you know, ever since I first heard them. So yeah, they're fantastic.
Those are the two guys to look up to.
Yeah. Best non-Yankees broadcast booth.
Oh, the MSG Knicks booth. Unless you want Yankees stuff or baseball stuff, but the Knicks booth for MSG is really good. When you get Mike Breen and Clyde Frazier, those guys are legitimate, like just icon. Like Mike Breen is the voice of the NBA, and we just get him as the Knicks like local guy. Yeah, it's crazy. But looking for a baseball answer, I don't listen to enough other people's local broadcasts enough to have real opinions. I guess it's the Mets booth, but
I was gonna say the Mets booth. I really like the Mets booth. It's Keith Hernandez, it's Ron Darling, and then not Steve Cohen. It's
Gary
Cohen. That's it. They are very good. They have similar booth, but
yeah, they're the only group I listen to anywhere near enough to like have opinions on. Like they're obviously amazing. Everything you hear, I don't listen to enough of the White Sox, but everything you hear about their guys are like they're like the best local booth you can get. So
yeah, I'm down here in Tampa, so I hear the Rays booth a lot. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson, and sometimes I can't pronounce the Hispanic guy's name, but they're okay. Dwayne last broadcast I was doing, Dwayne Stats was, I hate how they still do the whole narrative with the hit by pitches, and he was very adamant about that stuff, which kind of annoyed me. But
yeah, it's become such like a thing with the Yanks and Rays, like especially the last time around. Like I don't think like Montgomery hit
he hit him with like a curveball or something. Like
do I think Jordan Montgomery hit Austin Meadows on purpose? No, that doesn't seem like who Monty is.
Yeah, like Stacey's a
And
different.
Meadows, I don't think is a guy the Yankees would be targeting on the other team.
Right.
Um,
It just
it's like
didn't.
he's such a nice guy too. He's so like laid back, calm. But if I was a Rays fan, just the way those balls hit him, like I could, if
Yeah.
I were a Rays fan, I would. Rays fans are right to think it was on purpose, just given the whole history. I don't blame them for thinking it, but
Yeah, it is what it is. We'll end on a basketball question, actually. Realistically, how far will the Knicks go if they make the playoffs?
I think there's a world they can win in the first round. Depends who they get matched up with. Like if it's
Yeah.
today, they're lined up to face pulling up standings. Want to make sure I don't say the wrong thing. So today they're the 4th seed. They'd be playing Atlanta in the first round. I think they would beat them.
I agree.
But if they were lined up against Boston, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Philly, like Boston, it would take a small miracle, I think, but they could. I don't see them getting past those other guys. Anything can happen in one series, but like I almost don't like care what they do. The season has already been such a success, and like the
Right.
culture's shifted, and just the vibes around the Knicks are so good right now. It's great.
Gotta lock up.
Like it truly like like warms my heart.
Is Randall the star of this team moving forward?
You have to keep him here. Like maybe he'll be like if you sign him to a max, like in theory he'll probably be a guy that's overpaid, but like you can't let him leave. You gotta lock him in.
He's still pretty
Anybody's
young.
tradable if you need to in a couple years.
How old is he?
He's 26. Like he can
Oh, yeah,
still.
he's got plenty of.
He's improved so much. Like
Yeah.
if I met Julius Randle, I truly would just be like, "Hey man, like thank you, because you like completely changed yourself and the team."
He's given them.
There's like a world where he can be a big part of what they're doing moving forward. I don't think he can necessarily be the number one guy on a championship team, but but I think he's shown he's good enough to be part of it in some way. He can be a winning basketball player. So hopefully he's here whenever the Knicks are ready to compete, and but most importantly, hopefully the Knicks one day can legitimately compete there.
Yeah. It's a start, though. I mean, this is I'd say the best Knicks basketball we've seen in quite some time. So
best Knicks team, certainly in your life, probably in mine.
Yeah, I mean,
we had the 54 win season. Like I guess technically when I was like a baby, they made the finals a couple times, but
yeah,
I have no memory of that. I didn't like basketball till like 2010. It's like
yeah,
so I've seen a lot of misery.
yeah. But
But
things are picking up, and
it's the best the vibes as an organization have been, and RJ Barrett's so good. He's so good. I watching him every night this year, and the rest of the league's finally catching up to just how good that dude is.
I'm excited to see him keep growing because
he takes that year 3 jump.
Yeah,
as you're like it's normal to, and as is that improvement he had from year 1 to year 2. If he can do the normal year 2 to year 3 jump,
that's gonna be big. That's gonna be big for the Knicks. It's gonna be big for RJ, and that's gonna look good.
I'm so excited to see what he does.
I could tell.
He's been crazy.
I personally am excited for this Yankee game that's coming up in like 10, 15 minutes. So we're gonna head out. But David, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. It was a great time. Hopefully we can do something again sometime, and hopefully the Yankees pick it up. Hopefully the Knicks keep doing what they're doing, and we see some good New York sports, because I could go for it right now. I'm sure you could too. But for David and myself, this has been GMs for Hire, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.